Taskbar still going. All right, I think we're live.
Amen.
So, Terry Duke, the wise men, what are we learning about tonight?
Well, tonight we're going to talk about first-time sellers.
Wait a
And
minute,
for all,
not first time buyers?
no, because every first-time buyer becomes a first-time seller at some point. And how many trillions of first-time buyer programs are there out there? But how many first-time seller programs are there? There aren't.
You heard
Most
it
of the
here
time,
first.
first-time sellers, yeah, are stuck. And they're not given, enough information to make, conscious decisions. And the same thing goes, those real estate agents that are going to join us this evening are going to learn about a whole segment of the market they didn't even know exist. So tonight we're going to share information, we're going to share data, a lot of data, surprising data, and we're going to share some basic caveats to the marketplace in hopes that everybody will be able to come away more informed, better prepared, and more excited to sell their home, or as a real estate agent, go out and get listings. So you ready for everything, Chris?
Yeah, so Dane, quick question. How old were you when you sold your first property?
I have never sold my first property.
Well,
There
hey.
you go. There you
I
go.
still have my first property, and I have another property too.
Oh, hey. Can I interest you in selling it? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Uh,
kidding.
People, I get
Uh,
postcards every day.
I know.
Yeah.
And is there a unique selling proposition? Not at all.
No, it's like we'll give you $30,000. I'm like, well, I paid 115 grand for this piece of land, so probably not.
Probably not. So
All right.
I'm going to pull up our presentation tonight, and we're going to just go with it. So first thing tonight is I just want to introduce everybody. This is a joint venture. It's a joint venture between XCountry Mortgage and me. My name is Terry Duke. I am known as the Wise Man. I'm engaged with XCountry Mortgage as the managing director. I help educate buyers and sellers and real estate agents throughout the region. We're focused in Colorado and Idaho, mountain states, and we use a lot of information to try to help you as a buyer, as a seller, and as a real estate agent be better at what you want to do and be more satisfied with the results. So that's an introduction this evening, and I wanted to share that with you. So understanding that the market is the market. I am sharing with you this evening something that I can't see. Here we go. Oh no. Well, here we go. I'm on the wrong page. Yep. So anyway, for the majority watching this presentation, this will be the first time you sold a home. And just like being a first-time buyer, being a first-time seller requires studying, homework, and patience. You need to understand the market where you'll be selling, all the new guidelines regarding commissions, and be proactive and in control of your own destiny. This is a big decision, and education is power. With that being said, I just want to help you understand what the market really looks like. Okay, so here we go. So right now, there are 16,555 properties listed for sale in the state of Colorado. 4,347 of those people have 100% equity. They owe absolutely nothing on their house. 1,954 of them have 75 to 99% equity. 3,316 owe 50 to 74%. Oh, look at that. 4,275 have 25 to 49% equity. And 2,663 have 24% or less equity. That means that 84% of all the properties that are currently listed have at least 25% equity. Why is that important? That means that the market is dominated by people who have equity, who are going to be your competition if you're considering selling your home, but everything is negotiable. And having equity means people are going to feel that they can negotiate with you. It's not like you're so tight. It's like going to a car dealership. Everybody thinks that they can negotiate. Everybody thinks they're a wonderful negotiator, and you should not be offended by it. Now, obviously, if you have a $500,000 house and they make a $200,000 offer on it, you can feel very, very much violated. However, when you negotiate $10,000 or $15,000, or they negotiate for commissions, or they negotiate for concessions, that's normal and active. But as a first-time seller, this is to help you understand what your competition looks like. The most important part of being a first-time seller is being informed. And so this chart and graph is something that would help you. Anybody who requests it after tonight, we'll send you this entire stack of documents so that you can have it, look at it, know it, learn it. It will help you become a much better first-time seller. So it's important you guys understand commissions, okay? So with the settlement of the National Association of Realtors and most MLS services last year, what you pay to real estate agents is completely negotiable. You decide how much you're willing to pay the real estate agent list your home. You also decide how much, if anything, you're willing to pay the agent that represents the buyer that buys your home, and you're completely in control. There are no minimum and no industry standards any longer. The reason I bring this up is, in the past, real estate agent says, well, you know, I'll list and sell your house. It's 5% or it's 6%. And that was automatically divided between the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, but it was paid for by the seller. That's no longer the way it works. You're able to negotiate what you're going to be willing to pay a listing agent for their services, and within those services, what they're going to do. So you might decide that you're going to pay a listing real estate agent 2%, and for that 2%, they're going to host your open house, meet the appraiser. They're going to help you market the property. You might meet a little bit less of a service one who says, well, we'll put it in the multiple listing service and we'll help you negotiate offers, but you have to hold your own open houses. You have to meet with your own people. It's very important that you do whatever you want to do. So that's something that's available as well. Then you have to also decide whether you're going to be having the buyer agent be paid for by you or by the buyer. History has it that you pay, you know, that you as a seller would be paying that, but it's not required any longer. So as we've done this and as you do it, it's interesting to note this. If you are unwilling to pay a buyer's agent, how many of those buyer's agents are you think are going to come and look at your property? Do you think it'll be a lot, or do you think it'll be a little? It's something to think about when you go to selling your home and when you're negotiating. And the last part about this is, it's important to understand what's going on with the marketplace right now. Okay. So when you look at this right now, your competition, 9,957 of your competition bought their house from 2016 until now. That means more than 60% of the current sellers right now have owned their property the last 7 or 8 years, very short term. They fall into a category that we call the do-over category. They've got in, they've got some equity, they're not sure they want to stay being homeowners. If this is you, we understand. Property taxes have gone up, utilities have gone up, homeowners insurance has gone up. If you have a homeowners association, it's gone up. The cost of gas, water, electricity, food, everything has gone up. And if you're on a fairly fixed income, it's hard to justify continuing to have everything go up every year. And you're looking at that equity going, wow, I have some debt, I have some equity. Maybe it's better that we just do over and start all over again and pay off this house, pay off the debt, and start all over. So that's called a do-over. And it's totally acceptable, and it happens for a lot of people. When you look at it, and it's a scary thing to know, Of the 16,000 people, only 12%, 1,893 people, have owned their house since 1989 or earlier. The majority of the sellers have owned their house from 2016 forward. The next biggest category of people that bought from 2007 forward. So go ahead.
Hey, Terry, I'm still seeing the equity slide. Is that what we're still on?
Nope. So that's very odd. Let's go here and share. This should be number 6. Share number. Now, does that show you number 6 now? Understanding
Yep.
commissions?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, thought we stopped the share, but hey, it's a learning curve. Next time I'm going to have it all together in a different way. Anyway, I'm going to stop that one because we've already talked about that. So I'm stopping the share. And now we're going to go to a different slide. So this is slide number 5, and I wanted to talk about this. Don't become a victim. So my favorite topic in the world. Did you know there's only 2 reasons a house doesn't sell? It's either overpriced or it's ugly. An overpriced or ugly home will sit on the market while other properties sell nearby. The solution is really simple. With an overpriced home, you lower the price to where the other homes are currently listed. With an ugly home, you have 2 choices. You lower the price significantly below your competition, or you fix up the home to remove the ugliness. The reason I bring this up is when you go and you look at it, and we break down how long properties have been on the market. When you look at the properties that have been on the market the longest, invariably, they are overpriced or they're ugly. And when you look at it, you go, well, why is that? In the neighborhood where I live, there is a little tract home that thinks it's worth $1.2 million, where within 5 miles, I can go buy for the exact same $1.2 million, a house that's twice as big on 5 acres with miniature grape vineyard, a swimming pool, and it's gorgeous. It's got a view, a 270-degree view. Why would I buy a little tract home for the same price that I can buy the dream home? You wouldn't. So that house that's overpriced, it's been sitting now 95 days in the market, not one offer, not one price reduction. So the reason that it's overpriced could be for 2 things. Sometimes the sellers get in their head that they think their house is better than somebody else's. And you have to remember, your house is only as valuable as the market will bear. If somebody's not willing to pay your price, you can wait till the cows come home. It's not going to sell. Your competition is going to use that house and say, look, they want $1.2 million for that one. Look at this one at $999. It's a much better price. It's a much better house. They're going to use your overpriced house to sell against, or they'll use your ugly house for the same reason. Look, they want $1.2 million for that house. Look how much nicer this $800,000 house is. It's very important that you understand what's going on with the marketplace. It's very important that you understand what your competition is. It's also very important that you don't fall for one last important thing that I think that you probably want to avoid. Real estate agents who come to show you a house to possibly list your house, they have a unique thing that they use. And it's a term that real estate agents won't like me using, but I'm going to use it. It's called the last liar wins. So that means that real estate agent number 1 shows up and says, well, I can sell your house for $900,000. Your next real estate agent shows up and says, oh, I can sell your house for $1.1 million. And then the third one shows up and says, oh, I could sell your house for $1.5 million. Well, the reality is none of them are correct. The market's going to dictate the price. And in that market dictating the price, it could be higher or it could be lower. But invariably, a real estate agent will tell you, what you want to hear about price to get the listing, and then hammer on you to lower the price. The worst thing in the world that happens is a property sits in the market for a long time. It's very, very difficult for it to work. It's important that when you get the house on the market, you market it for the right price, you market it at the right time with the right commissions so that it sells in a very timely manner. If you've ever been to Walmart, you find the bargain bin section. It's the things that didn't sell, that didn't sell it sitting on the shelf for a long time. Costco does it. Car dealerships do it. Almost every store does it. They're called loss leaders. And you don't want your house to be a loss leader. You want your house to be bright and shiny. And the other part to this is, if you overprice a house, are you going to want to keep it in perfect condition so that people can come and look at it whenever they want to? Are you going to want to be having to clean the house all the time, keep the yard absolutely gorgeous for weeks and months on end because you picked a price that's out of the market right now? I don't think so. It's very important that you, as the seller, control that way of doing things. What I suggest all the sellers do is they do two things. Number one, they make a comparative list, put it in a spreadsheet, put it on a sheet of paper. I don't care. Know who your competition is. Go out and look at them. Look at the price. Go tour them. Drive by them. Go to the open house. Compare it to your own house. Compare it to what you were thinking your house might be worth. That's the first thing to do. Make sure you're following what's going on. Did they raise the price? Did they lower the price? Did it go into escrow? Did it fail in escrow? Is it back on the market? Was it withdrawn? Did it get into escrow and did it close? All of those things are important because those properties are going to be your competition when you decide to sell your home. Secondarily, you got to make sure that when the house closes around your neighborhood, you know exactly what it closed escrow for. You need to know all the houses that are sold, but they only certain ones. When somebody goes to buy your house, invariably they're going to buy it with a loan. That appraiser is going to go out and look at houses that fit into this category. The houses have to be within 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom of yours. They have to be within 25% of the same square footage than yours. They have to be within 90 days of the date that they're doing the appraisal that it closed escrow. And last but not least, they have to be within 1 mile of your property, period. So you can't use a house 4 miles over that was much bigger or much smaller or got a much higher price because an appraiser is not going to use that. So you're going to need to keep this updated. And I suggest a spreadsheet and you write them all down. You find out what the 90 days houses have sold, all the houses that are currently listed, and you keep a running sheet. You do your homework every week. Know what's going on. Go on the internet, take a look, use the websites that are out there to tell you what's going on. So you know exactly what's going on. You don't have to rely on anybody else. You know exactly what the market's doing and how it's going to affect you. So when comes time to choose a purchase price, what you want to list your home for, you're not falling for the last liar wins. You know exactly what the market will bear. You also need to understand in every neighborhood, there are going to be properties that come on the market and you do one of two things. You go, if it's an overpriced, you go, dang, how do they think they're going to get $1.2 million for that thing? Or the opposite's going to be, whoa, that house is only selling for $800,000. That one's even nicer than ours. It's going to affect yours because when a property is overpriced or it's underpriced, it's affecting your price. And you need to know how it gets affected. Now, when you're talking with your real estate agent, they're going to present you what's called a comparative market analysis. By having your own homework ready, they can't skip out or give you data that won't be used by an appraiser or is not viable to your property. If it's 5 miles away, you'll know it. Why are you using this as a comparative market analysis? An appraiser is only going to use it up to a mile away. Knowledge is power, and this is what you're going to have. It's really important, no matter what you do, that you retain control. You hire the real estate agent. You make the decision on what the price is going to be. You make the decision on what the commissions are going to be. You make the decision on what offer it is you want to take. They are a paid advisor. They're like an attorney. They are legally representing you, but it's your interests that have to be at most important, not anybody else's, not the buyer, not the buyer's agent, not your agent, not anybody else. You are the most important person in this transaction. And the sooner you act like that, the better you'll be as a seller and the better off you'll be when it comes time to list and sell your home. My last comment, and it's a really big one. It's part of the reason here we are as a mortgage company talking to you about being a first-time seller. The biggest mistake, the number one mistake that first-time sellers make, if they're planning to sell this house and buy another one, is not getting themselves completely pre-approved for a mortgage before they put their property on the market. Whether you realize it or not, and I work across the country, I work with major title companies, escrows, I work with real estate companies, I work with mortgage companies across the United States. 40% of every escrow that opens don't close, okay? And of those 40%, 3/4 of those don't close because either the buyer or the seller didn't qualify for the mortgage. So before you put your property on the market, if you're planning to take your equity and go buy another property, make sure you get together with the people at XCountry Mortgage and get yourself completely pre-approved. Now, pre-approved is not telling them you play center field for the Yankees and you have $1 million. Pre-approved means you gave them paycheck stubs, bank statements, tax returns, identification. You've given them everything they need to look at to send to a real underwriter to pre-approve you for either a mortgage payment or a purchase price, whichever you want to work with. They're going to ask you key questions like, how much money have you saved, or how much money will you have access to buy this house? They're going to ask you questions about the house you're selling. Did you take advantage of the pandemic forbearance and not make mortgage payments? And do you still owe money on that? How much money do you feel you're going to net from the sale of your home? How much of that money are you planning to use to buy the next one? What kind of a monthly mortgage payment would you like to have on the next house? Those are important questions to ask and have answers to when you go to buy, because there's no point in you going out to go shopping for a house with a $6,000 or $7,000 a month payment where you only want to have a $3,000 a month payment, or to go out and look at a $3 million house and you only have $200,000 or $300,000 as the down payment. It's not going to work. That's what the people at XCountry Mortgage are for. The people in Colorado, Chris and Dane, they really get what's going on. They really understand how to ask those questions and protect your interests, because we don't want you to be homeless. We want you to enjoy the process, be prepared, be proactive, and be excited about moving to a next house. So for those of you who have questions, please email us, call us, get a hold of us. We have many more of these seminars coming up. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Terry. Good information. We're going to call that a wrap.
You got